Lewis and Clark, we proceeded on. Why the Lewis and Clark expedition stayed in American myth as well as history. I set out 4 p.m. in the presence of many of the neighboring inhabitants, and proceeded on under a gentle breeze up the Mississippi to the upper point of the first island 4 miles. Heavy rain this afternoon. Thus wrote Captain William Clark on May 14, 1804. He and Captain Matthias Lewis had spent the winter of 1803 to 04 at Camp Dobbs near the mouth of the Mississippi preparing for this day. They has been commissioned by Thomas Jefferson, the great chronicler, the mainspring of expedition to explore the Louisiana Purchase, the land between the Mississippi and the Rockies. That day, their crops of discovery rolled up the muddy current of Mississippi and into history. 200 years later, 20 million to 30 million people, up to 1 in 7 adult Americans, are expected to retrace part of their journey. Schools are holding special trips. The means is issuing coins. The Nation Council of Lewis and Clark Bicentennial is running a huge exhibition. Unlike 500th anniversary of Columbus' voyage, overshadowed by objections from American Indians, the bicentennial of Lewis and Clark will be in proportion to its huge popular appeal. In 1984, American Heritage magazine asked historians which historic event they would most like to have witnessed. Lewis and Clark came second. Stephen Abrams' triumphant account of the journey on those cultures remained a bestseller. Lewis and Clark did not reshape the known world as did, said Herbert Cook or Darwin. For much of the journey, their copies of the discovery told Indian trails, followed Indian maps, and were led by Indian guides. And they are not even the first whites to transit North America. Alexander Mackenzie has completed the trip on behalf of Britain Northwest Company in 1793. Jefferson has commissioned them to find a northwest passage, not the sea route to Asia through the Arctic that European has long been looking for, but the negative link between American westwards and eastward flowing rivers. Did not exist for years. American textbooks made little of their expedition, but what is it about Lewis and Clark that fire Americans' imagination now? It's American Odyssey story, said Robert Archer, president of the National Council of Bicentennial. American vastness has long given rise to a mythology of journeys from the Oregon Trail to Huckleberry Finn, lighting out for the territory to Route 66 and Jack Covers on the road like Homer's Odyssey. The Corpse of Discovery is America's first and greatest epic. The 34-strong corps, including an infant and a Newfoundland dog, travel up 8,000 miles, measuring and mapping every step after chunking uphill through the Great Plain, which caused Clark to wonder that so magnificent a scenery in a country that situated far removed from civilized world, enjoyed by nothing but the buffalo air decker bear in which it bound and saving Indians. The expedition waited in Fort Mandan, North Dakota, serving on the kindness of Indians who told that if we eat, you should eat. If we starve, you must starve also. The next year, 1805, they reached the Great Fall of the Missouri, expecting to drag their goods, and both rode it for a day or two. It took 53 days, served by amazing coincidence. The wife of a trapper hired a Fort Mandan turned out to be long-lost sister of numerous shepherd leaders. They found their most bitter disappointment ahead. On August 12th, Lewis reached the hills where the Northwest Passage was supposed to be. Instead of the route to the Pacific, we proceeded on the top of the diving route from what I discovered immense range of high mountain. Here, to the west of us, the hills turned out to be Rockies. In deep snow, they struggled through those tremendous mountains, taking twice as long as expected to cross the Lower Lasso and went off starvation by eating their corpses, and so down the Soviet-filled Columbia River and the Pacific Ocean is all the joy, wrote Clark. It was the high point of the expedition. It took them another 10 months to trek back to St. Louis, and like Odysseus, the corpse of Discovery returned to a home that has been profoundly changed, partly by their own achievements. The inhabitants lined the bank and fired off guns at the return of a party long given for dead. So society holidays, giving gang halls at each stop on their way to Washington. They were a national hero, but the popularity had not owned as much as complementary qualities as to history one. The corpse of Discovery looks like America. Captain Lewis and Clark was well connected to southern Frisbee. Prophet John Popes was a new immigrant both in Germany. The clerk George Dorrance was half French, half Swanee. The interpreter Scarby was full Indian. York Clark's slave made a bigger impact among Indians than anyone. An incredulous task chiefly black York's king was his finger to get the pen of graphic font for modern school that was not party of dead white male. When it reached the Pacific, everyone voted on where to spend the winter of 1805 to 06, including York and Scarborough. To many Americans, the vote exemplified the West's freedom expansion quality.